1972 was the year a great love affair ended. The human race fell out of love with the moon. It was a classic case of familiarity breeds contempt. There'd been 6 moon landings, and we'd grown bored. To this day, no one has been back.
The moon did turn out to be dull. It's, what do you see, a barren, colourless landscape with fragmentary rock all over the place.
Our eyes wandered to other more intriguing worlds. Throughout the solar system, scientists found many more moons that seemed far more exciting than our own dull pile of grey rock. For 35 years, our own moon has been abandoned. But now, all that's about to change. This is the story of our love affair with the moon. What inspired it, how it faded away, and how now we're slowly but surely falling in love all over again. Our love affair with the moon is an ancient one. It is Earth's constant companion in the dark emptiness of space. The moon has looked down on the whole of human history, and throughout history, we have looked up at it. It has inspired great myths and legends. We've feared it, and we've worshipped it. "5,000 years ago, in a remote corner of the Outer Hebrides, a Neolithic community made its home. We know very little about these people, but they've left us an enduring symbol of their profound relationship with the moon. Islanders Margaret Curtis and her husband Ron have devoted their lives to understanding that relationship.
I find a link with these people that our minds seem to be working along the same ideas. This has been very much of a detective story, sorting it all out. They may not have had writing, but they've set the stones up in such a way that we can fathom out what they were after.
No one knows for certain what the standing stones of Callanish represent, but their positioning suggests that they're a complex tribute to the moon, part sacred site and part ancient observatory.
Those stones at Callanish are a sort of lunar computer, a lunar calendar. And it's a computer that's still working after 5,000 years, which is more than we can say for some of the computers we've got around nowadays.
The stones seem to be arranged so they track the movements of the moon through the sky from month to month.
Nowadays, we're not fully aware of what the moon's doing in the sky. We know short days in the winter, long days in the summer, but the moon's plodding on doing the same sort of thing over a much longer cycle. And whereas we nowadays aren't fully aware of where the northernmost moon rises or sets, or the southernmost, our prehistoric ancestors 5,000 years ago did know, and they set these stones out to mark these extreme positions of the moon.
Most of all, the stones could predict the timing of a spectacular and rare lunar event. To the south of Callanish is a range of hills which resemble a woman lying on her back. Every 18 years, the full moon rises out of the hills. It rolls along the woman's body and then vanishes. But moments later it is reborn, right in the center of the stone circle. Legend says that anyone who witnessed this magical event would be blessed with the gift of fertility. It has always been the full moon above all else that has stirred the human spirit. Yet the moon has no light of its own. Its glow is simply reflected sunlight. As it orbits our planet, the portion of the sunlit surface that we see changes. This gives us the phases of the moon, a 29.5-day cycle that waxes to full and then wanes back to new. When the moon is full, the night sky glows 10 times brighter than when it's new. And on this night, the same full moon can be seen from every corner of the Earth. It has always inspired awe. In times gone by, the full moon was believed to bring out our darker selves in a monthly wave of madness and bloodshed. The word lunacy derives from the Latin word for moon, and crimes that happened at this time were looked upon more leniently. But when it comes to nature, the moon's impact isn't legend. The full moon triggers a frenzy of activity. It is the time of the highest tides. And in the oceans, the full moon's bright light is a mating call for sea creatures all over the world. The full moon governs the very reproduction of these species. And now, scientists have discovered it may be doing the same for us humans. Research suggests that the full moon may play a significant role in our own cycles of fertility. In the late 1970s, scientists studying female fertility noticed a baffling coincidence.
We knew that the moon cycled every 29.5 days, and we knew a 29.5-day cycle was the most fertile woman's cycle length. That a woman who had a 26-day cycle, or a 40-day cycle, or a 60-day cycle was much less likely to be fertile in that cycle.
At the time, it was unclear whether this was a chance phenomenon or whether the two were related. But further research on women with 29.5-day menstrual cycles threw up even more links with the patterns of the lunar cycle.
In that group of women who cycle as frequently as the moon, they tended to be menstruating, starting their periods in the full moon, at the day of the full moon. And as you move away from the full moon toward the new moon, a smaller and smaller and smaller proportion of the group is starting their menstrual period. That was a very exciting natural biologic phenomenon that said there's something in nature about the moon that coincides with women getting their period at the full moon. The fertility cycles of women are related to the moon cycle, and I don't think women's fertility drives the moon. I think it's the other way around.
No one knows for sure why this phenomenon exists, or how it works. It is one of the moon's many mysteries. Until very recently, the moon remained an enigma. And it was this mysterious quality which fueled our fascination. Where did it come from? What was it made of? And the biggest question of all, was it a world like ours? Did it harbor life? For millennia, it was impossible to know. No one even knew what the surface of the moon looked like.